Fairborn Schools is proud to present the Hall of Honor Class of 2025.
Good evening. This poem is called The Bridge Builder. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim, the sullen stream had no fear for him. But he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, you are wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You will never again pass this way. You've crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build this bridge at evening tide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said, there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm which has been as naught to me, to that fair-haired youth might a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building the bridge for him.
Welcome to the 36th Annual Hall of Honor program. We are honored to have community and family members join us for an incredible evening which honors the sons and daughters of Fairborn City Schools and the Fairborn community. There are people here from coast to coast and many points in between. They are friends and acquaintances. We come together tonight to honor those people who have brought great credit to themselves, their chosen profession, to the Fairborn City Schools and the community. I want to thank the Fairborn High School ushers who assisted this evening. Will you please join me? Emma Miller, the class of 2025 president, plans to attend The Ohio State University in the fall. Gabriel Bailey, class of 2025 vice president, plans to attend The Ohio State University in the fall. James Burrows, class of 2025 secretary, plans to attend Sinclair Community College in the fall. Javon DeWitt, class of 2025 treasurer, plans to attend Harvard University in the fall. Mackenzie Albright, class of 2025 assistant treasurer, plans to attend Wright State University in the fall. And Katie Welsh, class of 2025 historian, plans to attend Wright State University in the fall. Thank you. I also want to take a moment to thank the Hall of Honor Selection and Induction Committee members, with whom without this event would not be possible. There's lots of hard work and things that go on behind the scenes to make this event happen. Teresa Boney, Tammy Bird, Sarah Fulton, Wendy Landon, Barb McDermott and her family, Laura Meter, Craig Moore, Kelly Muma, Barb Parsons, Linda Riffle, Nancy Sturtz, Stephanie Webb, Rosie Wimsat, and Becky Zink. So thank you all very, very much. I also want to, and if these alumni and friends of Fairborn could please rise when I call your name. These are past, previous enshrinees who are with us tonight. J. Craig Moore, the class of 1968. Warren K. Brown, the class of 1960. Michael G. Hazley, the class of 1967. James L. Rout, class of 1998. Norma Watson Nicola. Barbara W. Parsons. M. Joyce Dennis. Robert E. Jones. And S. Jack Gayhart, class of 1958. Thank you for being here this evening. As the colors are brought forward by the Fairborn High School Air Force JROTC, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would now like to welcome Pastor Greg Trout from Fair Creek Church to give the invocation.
Pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, we do thank you for the blessing it is to be here together tonight. Thank you, God. What a blessing it is to be in this building. What a gift it has been, and we're grateful. And we thank you. We thank all the citizens, Lord, who have been behind this, for the teachers, for the superintendents, the ones that are working so hard daily to serve the families and the students of this school. Heavenly Father, we're grateful because your eye is on all of this. We know that your sovereign will and your plan for what the future holds for each one of us, for the next generation, it begins in places like this. And so, Lord, tonight we are grateful to be here to honor students who have once been a part of this school and honor them for their accomplishments as they have taken on their role in life, the things that you have given them purpose to do. And God, I pray that you will bless them and continue, Lord, to use them. And may the legacy that they leave, God, would be something that students currently would look up to and to follow. Now tonight, we ask that everything that is done here will bring honor, not only to these inductees and their families, to this school system, but God, most of all, to you. Thank you that you've made it all possible, and it's all possible because of your grace and mercy that you offer to all of us. We thank you for it. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I will now introduce Fairborn Board of Education President Tim Steininger. Mr. Steininger is passionate about the Fairborn City Schools and the Fairborn community and previously served on the Fairborn City Council. He is a delegate to the OSBA Capital Conference and is our OSBA Legislative Liaison. He is also on the Fairborn City Schools Technology Committee.
Good evening to everyone here tonight. Thank you for coming. It is my honor to represent the Fairborn Board of Education at this evening's ceremony. As I am a proud member of the Fairborn community, I congratulate each of you, and I mean that, on your outstanding achievements that we will be discussing tonight and highlighting. You bring great pride and honor to the Fairborn City Schools and the community, and congratulations to you on your honor tonight. Thank you.
Many of Fairborn City Schools students are participating in these enshrinement activities. Students participated in Friday morning inductee educational sessions, vocalists from chamber chorale, instrumentalists in the orchestra, jazz ensemble, and the cadets of the color guard. Student ambassadors and ushers are also participating this evening. These students honor the current student body at Fairborn High School and the history and pride of Fairborn City Schools. The connection between the past and the present helps to meet a goal of the Hall of Honor, that current students may draw inspiration and establish future goals based on the accomplishments of those who have gone before. On stage tonight, we have members representing Student Congress. Will you please join me? We have Abby Hauser, Taylor Yoakum, Cadence Stewart, Chelsea McKenzie, and Athena Richter, who will deliver the student message for this evening.
Good evening. My name is Abby. To me, Fairborn is a community where we support each other. Through my time in Fairborn schools, I've never been without a valuable mentor, caring friend, or kind acquaintance. This has helped me develop a deeper appreciation for my education and for my community. It is important to me that we preserve the goodness within Fairborn and continue to make our town and school system a better place where everyone can thrive.
Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Yoka. Leading Student Congress has been an honor in itself. It has taught me that communicating with my peers and working together to plan events is vital for having a great high school experience. Student Congress has also taught me to appreciate all of the hard work our mentors put into school events, because being behind the scenes for Student Congress showed me it is not an easy task to do. Therefore, I am deeply grateful for those who help with other events throughout the year. Lastly, being a Student Congress officer truly gives me a sense of pride because I can firsthand see the success that comes from our events. I also believe seeing my peers enjoy events we put on, such as homecoming, provides a deep sense of pride to myself and other officers. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kaden Stewart, and I believe that honor is more than a word. It is a way of life. It is integrity in action, the courage to stand for what is right, and the selflessness to serve others before oneself. True honor is not just about achievements, but about the character and principles that guide those achievements. Tonight, we recognize individuals who have not only reached great heights, but have done so with dignity, resilience, and the commitment to something greater than themselves. Their legacy inspires us to lead with purpose, to act with integrity, and to always strive for excellence. May their example remind us that honor is not just a title, it is a way of life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chelsea McKenzie. Being invited to speak at the Hall of Honor ceremony and to be in the presence of those who have served Fairborn and other communities with altruism, compassion, and excellence is not just a privilege, it is an honor in itself. Speaking at this ceremony means standing in the presence of greatness, not just in achievements or titles, but in spirit, and I do not take that lightly. Today, we will honor the extraordinary individuals who have paved paths that required resilience and heart. Participating in this ceremony is a wonderful honor that inspires me to persevere in my own life with that same resilience and heart. To everyone you are honoring tonight, thank you for making an incredible difference in the lives of those around you. Your efforts do not go unnoticed.
Hello, I'm Athena Richter. On behalf of Student Congress and the entire student body, we would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak and celebrate those being conducted tonight at Hall of Honor. Have a great evening.
Superintendent Amy Gayhart has served in the Fairborn City School District as a teacher, principal, assistant superintendent, and superintendent. As a Fairborn graduate, her passion for Fairborn and the future of Fairborn City Schools is unwavering. I introduce Superintendent Amy Gayhart.
Good evening and welcome to the 36th Annual Hall of Honor Induction Ceremony. For some of you, this may be the first time that you've been able to join us in the new Fairborn High School, and I want to express our gratitude for the support that the community has given us to have these incredible new facilities, and I hope that as you visit with us tonight that you are able to see the incredible gift that you have given to our students. Tonight, we gather to celebrate an exceptional group of Fairborn graduates, individuals who exemplify the very best of Fairborn City Schools and our broader community. Through their achievements, service, and dedication, they bring pride and distinction to our schools and to all of Fairborn. As a proud Fairborn graduate myself, I'm especially honored and delighted to share the stage with each one of you tonight. The Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor is a point of pride as it not only recognizes the remarkable accomplishments of our alumni and staff, but also serves as a powerful reminder of what is possible. It inspires all those who have walked the halls of Fairborn schools, past, present, and future, to go out into the world and make a meaningful impact. Congratulations to all inductees and those families that have joined us. We're truly honored to have you with us this evening.
The words to the Fairborn alma mater were penned by Harry Smith, class of 1912, who served the Fairborn City Schools for 40 years and who is enshrined in the Hall of Honor. He set the words to the familiar and well-known music of the Cornell University alma mater. This is an important tradition in the Hall of Honor ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand and join us as we recall our special high school memories as the Chamber Chorale, under the direction of Karen Goretta, sings the Fairborn High School alma mater. We will now begin with the 6 inductees who will be enshrined this evening. Tess Teresa Fannin Little is a 1969 graduate of Fairborn High School, where she was a member of the band, Latin Club, and Girls Athletic Association. She received a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Sculpture from Wright State University and then taught ceramics and drawing at Sinclair Community College for 3 years. She earned a Master of Fine Arts degree with a major in sculpture from Cranbrook Academy of Art in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, and then returned to teaching at Sinclair, Antioch College, and Wright State University. She has been showcased in numerous solo and group art exhibitions with multiple sculptures and exhibitions throughout the Midwest, and has permanent large-scale sculptures in East Chicago, Kettering, Sinclair Community College, and Courthouse Square in Dayton. In 1993, she co-founded REACH, Realizing Ethnic Awareness and Cultural Heritage across Dayton, and she founded Sinclair's Appalachian Outreach Committee. For 10 years, she served on the Fairborn City Schools Board of Education, 5 as board president. She has received numerous awards and honors, including being named one of Ohio's top 100 educators and Dayton's top 10 women. She and her husband, Jim, have 3 children, Russell, Rebecca, and Alice, 8 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren, and she still continues to create great works of art. Superintendent Gayhart, it is my honor to present Tess Teresa Fannin Little for induction into the Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor.
Thank you. Well, I would like to say thank you to the Fairborn City Schools, the selection committee, and a special thank you to Barb Parsons for nominating me for this incredible recognition. I'm deeply honored and humbled. I'd also like to say thank you to my family and friends who have supported me over the years and continue to support me. You, dear family and friends, mean everything to me. My parents, Robert and Viola Fannin, moved to Fairborn from Eastern Kentucky as children in the 1940s. My grandmother, Bertha H. Jordan, worked during World War II as a machinist at Wright Field. She was a true Rosie the Riveter. My grandfather, Oscar Fannin, was a construction worker who helped build Wright Field. My mom met my dad when she moved next door to him on Vine Street in Wright View. At that time, Wright View was an Appalachian community where many migrants moved during and right after World War II for employment. We were hillbillies, outsiders, briars, and some folks who lived outside of our tight-knit community were not kind in word or action. Violet and Robert married in 1950 and started a family. As the oldest child of 4, I grew up in that little house on Vine Street. In 1963, Fairborn finally annexed Wright View, and we had running water and sewer by 1965. But the stigma of the neighborhood remains even until this day, and many people still avoid that side of town, but to me, it's home. When I was 10, the Little family moved next door to the Fannin family. Then history would repeat itself. Just like my mother, after high school, I married the boy next door. Jim Little and I still live in Fairborn today. I am also a proud student of the public school system. Thankfully, America's public school system is available to all children and has been a great equalizer for children from all walks of life. My parents were so proud to be able to send me, my brother and sisters to the Fairborn City Schools because they believed it would provide us with a good education, and I believe that it did. I started first grade at 5 Points Elementary School the first year it opened in 1957. We went to school for half a day that first year because the school was not finished. I attended 5 Points through 9th grade and then transferred to Fairborn High School for my sophomore, junior, and senior year. In the first grade, the first week, I found out from the other children in my class that I was poor. I found out that some children would not be able to play with me because their parents forbid it because I lived in Wright View. I found out that I was different, and it was a shock. But one learns to carry on, to internalize it, to question, and to make sense of it, and to make the best of the situation and keep going. It was my parents' support and their strong love for books, education, and their love of learning that gave me my strongest basis of support. They believed that education was the best path out of poverty. They, like all parents, wanted the very best for their children and tried very hard to provide it. Fortunately, at Fairborn, there were many teachers who supported me. Tonight, I have been asked to talk about some of those teachers who made a difference in my life. Those teachers encouraged me, gave me a path that helped develop my curiosity, my drive, my values, and built a strong foundation. I had Mrs. Blake in 4th and 5th grade. In 5th grade, she taught us to write poetry and would have contests to see who could write the best poem on a topic that she had just finished teaching, whether it be math or history or English or just a story she had read. What a lesson in expression and connecting art to the world. And once that year, I won a quarter. But I was more thrilled because my poem was chosen as the very best in the class. Mr. Moore, my 6th grade teacher, took the time, in addition to his lesson plans, to teach the entire class manners, including table manners, to be polite, how to sit, how to shake hands, how to look people in the eye when you spoke to them, how to conduct ourselves in an orderly manner. And this day, I appreciate the extra time that he took to teach life skills. And I tried to take the extra time with my students instead of just a lesson plan, but to add more. Mr. Helmer, my Ohio history teacher in the 7th grade, was the first teacher who made history real to me. He also tried to teach me how to play golf. And he lent me a putter and some golf balls to take home and practice. At that time, golf was a game for the wealthy, and for men. But Mr. Helmer said, and he said this over and over to me, that girls could play golf too. And in fact, girls could do anything that they set their mind to. and I came to believe him, even though I did not learn to play golf until 40 years later. I started playing clarinet in the 4th grade, but in 7th grade, my musical career changed when we got a brand new band teacher, fresh out of college, Mr. Robert DePero. The first week of 7th grade, he came to the band room and he asked if any clarinets would be willing to switch to the oboe or bassoon. I didn't have an idea what an oboe or a bassoon was, but June Armstrong and I raised our hands. Suddenly, I became a bassoon player, and she an oboe player, and we remained friends for life. And he was one of my all-time favorite teachers. When they finished building the junior high wing onto the 5 Points, again, my class was the first to move into that side of the building. I had the privilege of having Mr. Swaim as my math teacher, and later in life, I was so blessed to serve with him on the school board for 8 years until he passed away. The iconic Mr. Welty was my science teacher, and I found him a little scary back then. Imagine a race car driver who was also a teacher. But it was exciting. But my English teacher that year stole my heart in the 8th grade. Mrs. Hill loved the classics and poetry. She challenged her students to memorize 500 lines of poetry. Emerson, Longfellow, Poe, E.E. Cummings, Kilmer, any poet that we chose. No monetary reward, just the pleasure of learning, she said. As you learned a poem, you recited it in the class, and the number of lines were recorded. That year, about 10 students in the class memorized 500 lines of poetry. I was one of those. I remember a few lines now, but what she instilled in me was a love for literature, poetry, and the belief that learning is fun. I still believe learning is fun. My high school years in the middle to the late 60s were a time of upheaval. We witnessed the civil rights movement, the women's movement. Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring, and the importance of the environment became well known. Earth Day started in 1970. The Vietnam War was raging in the middle 60s, and there would be losses of lives, of innocence, and some hard years ahead for me and the classes of the 60s and 70s. Fairborn schools, like the rest of the country, saw a lot of young men go off to war. Things were also changing for women in our country, and I was one of the first girls to get permission to opt out of home ec and to take woodshop and graphic arts instead. But I finished high school before we were allowed to wear pants to school, so I always stood out there at the cold bus stops wearing my little skirt or dress. When I transferred to high school, I was privileged to have Fred J. Miller as my sophomore year band teacher. He believed in excellence. That year, our band won state competitions and many awards. Because of the awards, the band was invited to go to Macy's Parade in New York. At that time, the school board had a policy that there was no travel for students out of state. There was a contentious school board meeting where the band parents asked for an exception to the rule to allow the band to go. The vote was negative. And Fred J. Miller left Fairborn at the end of the year and concentrated on his personally owned business, which he already had, that would later become the nationally famous Miller Blackhawks and Color Guard. The school later changed its policy on travel a few years later, but what I learned from that was to stand up for your beliefs by his example. Mr. Moody in the 10th grade brought chemistry to life and opened up my desire to learn about nature. Mrs. Reed taught Latin and the importance of learning a dead language, culture, and history. And yes, my knowledge of ancient Rome and Latin have enhanced my life. But I must confess, in the 12th grade, in Latin 4, she sat me next to the bookshelf near the window. And on that bookshelf, there was a full set of Ernest Hemingway novels. With my Latin book on the top of the desk, sometimes a Hemingway novel would just slip into my lap. I read at least 4 of the Hemingway books that year, and I still love Hemingway. Between my junior and senior year at band camp, I fell and had a bulging disc in my back. I finished my senior year in a back brace, and I'm forever grateful to Mrs. Harris, the school nurse. Her compassion helped me finish the year, and we maintained a friendship for the rest of her life. But the real change that affected my life came to me as an accident, as a whim. My senior year, I was on track to major in college prep, and I thought that I would take art for an easy A, just to bring up my accumulation a little bit. Little did I know that my life would change forever when I walked into the art room. Mrs. Campbell, the art teacher, introduced me to something called the color wheel, and I thought it was magic. Suddenly, I was in love, and in January, she broke her leg skiing and had complications and did not return, and the Fairborn City Schools hired Claudette Mullins to be the substitute teacher for the remainder of the year. She had a pottery studio in addition to teaching, and one day she came to class with a bag of clay. She plopped it on my desk, and she said, "See what you can do with this." I guess I was a little mouthy, a little sure. Anyway, she came and said, "See what you can do with this," and I did. I made a little clay sculpture of a woman holding a baby. I had found my calling. A class that I had taken on as for a whim became my life's work. After graduation, she invited me to work as an apprentice in her pottery studio. I spent almost 3 years as her apprentice, and she became my mentor and best friend. It is because of her that I am an artist today. From there, I went to Wright State and then to Cranbrook Academy of Art to get my master's degree in sculpture. I chose teaching because I love art and I love people. It is my hope that during my 40 years of teaching, the 10 years of service on the school board, and my lifetime career in art and public art projects, that maybe too I have influenced and helped students to grow into their callings, and that my city and neighborhood is a better place for having been here. Thank you.
Matthew James Klein is a 2013 graduate of Fairborn High School, where he was a member of the Leo Club, varsity track team, and varsity football team. He was a 3-year GWAC All-Conference athlete in track, and in 2014 was a GWAC All-Conference athlete in football. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Marketing in 2018 from Wright State University, where he was a distinguished leader in the university's emerging marketing group. In 2017, he founded a nonprofit, Just a Pair of Shoes, which has donated almost 3,000 pairs of shoes to underprivileged children. He also partnered with 2 NFL teams during the My Cause, My Cleats initiative. He is the founder of an online shoe company, Success in Klein, which is one of the largest shoe buyers in Ohio and has customers in 57 different countries. Klein has served as a board member of the Fairborn Football Foundation and the Family Promise of Greene County, and has been a Fairborn High School varsity track and upward sports coach and worked with Big Brothers and Big Sisters organization. He was named a Wright State University alumni of the last decade and was a Dayton Daily News community gem. He and his wife, Catherine, an intervention specialist at the Fairborn Intermediate School, have a 1-year-old son, Cameron, and 2 golden retrievers. Superintendent Gayhart, it is my honor to present Matthew James Klein for induction into the Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor.
I wanted to thank God for always having his hand on my back and sending me the right people at the right time and always making a way where there was no way. I wanted to thank my mom for being so selfless and working all those hours. I remember at 15 years old, I had a freshman football coach. His name's Mark Landers, and he was very impactful for me. But he told me something at 15. He said that you can't pick your family. And I said, you're right, you can't choose your family. But Mom, just know, if I got to choose, I'd pick you every time. I wanted to thank my wife for always being my biggest supporter. I met my wife at Wright State my senior year, and I asked her out on a date, and she said no. She was focused on her academics, and she had to pass this class, or else it would delay her graduation. I continued to ask, and she kept saying no, but once she passed the class, she gave me a chance. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity, and you're an amazing mom for my son, or our son Cameron, and I couldn't ask for a better partner and fishing buddy. I wanted to thank my friends for always having my back, and I wanted to thank my mentors and everybody that's in my village. There's so many people to name, and I really wanted to name everybody, but I know we only have so much time tonight. I wanted to thank someone that couldn't be here tonight, someone that I miss very much, Coach Roy Toby. I wanted to thank him for my foundation. As I got to college, I realized what my morals and ethics are. Deep inside me, they come from Coach Toby, and I hope to see him down the road. In order for you to understand how important this moment is for me and my family, I think you have to understand our long journey. In the second grade, we came into the Fairborn City Schools District, and we were a displaced family. We enrolled in a homeless shelter in the third grade, and we got a house at 1505 Ironwood Drive. A very small house here in Fairborn, but a house full of laughter. We had a lot of challenges growing up. In 2007 was the federal cutback. My mom lost like all of her hours at work, and the Thursday nights before payday became one of the hardest nights of each month. There were a few times where we just had no food in our fridge, and we had to go down to our neighbors to eat. Going into third through fifth grade, I also had shoes that I would just wear out. I think I played outside and ran so much more than any other, just a normal kid, and my shoes would fall apart just because cheaper shoes don't last. I had low confidence, and when I went to school, I wanted to be invisible, because when you're noticed, you're a target, and when you're a target, you get picked on. Going into the seventh grade, I got my first pair of Nikes, and I felt so confident, and for the first time, I felt like I kind of blended in and belonged. Going into college, I started Just a Pair of Shoes, a nonprofit that helps kids, because there were so many people that helped me in my journey. So I thought it was the best to give back. But it wasn't just about the shoes that got me to where I am today. I believe at having the right teacher at the right moment can change the direction of a student's life. And for me, I think of three. My first one was Miss Coverman. She was my art teacher. I took like 4 or 5 classes with her. I took painting, sculpture, textiles and fibers, which is sewing, and even drawing. Her class was the outlet I needed because I got into so much trouble. I was suspended 5 or 6 times, probably more than anyone else in the Hall of Honor. And her class was the outlet that I needed. She was the most laid-back teacher, and the best attribute I thought was she really brings the best out in each student. You start this project and you're unsure of how it's going to end, but at the end, shockingly, it's a masterpiece, and you're more shocked than anything, but there's a sense of pride that you created that. And I experienced that personally, and I saw so many others do the same. In her class, it was different than most academic classes because I feel like there's always one question and there's only one answer, or there's one path to get there. In art class, there was one prompt, but many paths, and nobody's project was exactly the same. She taught me that it's important to be different, and as a kid, I felt invisible, and I wanted to be invisible, and then when I got my shoes, I felt like I fit in, but as you heard from Miss Little, I think coming from poverty, you realize that you kind of never fit in eventually. Coverman taught me that it's important to be different because another word for different is unique. And we're all painting this canvas, a blank canvas, and we're all painting it, and hopefully one day it's a masterpiece. Miss Coverman taught me that I was the artist of my own future. Today, she's heavily involved with Just a Pair of Shoes. We really appreciate her support, and she leads our Cleats for a Cause project where kids get to design a pair of cleats, and if they're selected as the winner, they get shown in an NFL game to millions of people. My second teacher, Miss Hammock. Miss Hammock was my freshman language arts teacher, and I had her as a senior as I was an aide in her classroom. Some of the things I remember from her class, I learned who Celine Dion was. And I also learned the power of the rough draft. You see, everybody has the same question, and we all have to fill out a rough draft. I noticed that nobody got to skip and go straight to the final draft. I realized that we all make mistakes. Some of us make more mistakes than others. I remember submitting a rough draft, and it was on this ugly yellow piece of paper. And when I got it back from her, there was so much red ink that it looked like a crime scene. I couldn't tell if the paper was yellow or red. But on the next draft that was purple, I cleaned it up, and it looked a lot better. By the time I got to my final draft, I had a paper that I could be proud of. Miss Hammock taught me that life isn't about failure, it's about revision, and that mistakes are just edits in the final version of you. But let me not lie to you guys. I wasn't on the honor roll. I graduated with a 2.87, and I got into a lot of trouble. My freshman year, I made a terrible decision to light a stink bomb off in a teacher's classroom. It stunk so bad that she had to evacuate the class outside like a fire drill. It was a terrible decision. I wouldn't recommend it. 0 stars. I got suspended 5 days for it, and our spring break was the next week, so I got an unwanted 2-week vacation, and I was so bored. I remember all the teachers sending work home to keep me busy, and Miss Hammock sent home the most work. I remember my suspension, and Miss Hammock was the only teacher to reach out to me to see how things were going, if I had any questions or needed anything with the work, and there was a lot of revision and reflection in those emails. To this day, I realize that Miss Hammock didn't treat me as a problem, she treated me as a person. And today, she's one of our founding board members for Just a Pair of Shoes, and her level of care is the foundation of what we believe in with Just a Pair of Shoes. And me and my wife really appreciate Amy and her amazing husband Ryan's friendship and mentorship, as they are a very bright light in our lives. My third teacher, Miss Piercy. Miss Piercy was my freshman focus teacher, and I took her as a senior in economics honors. Miss Piercy was like a motivator to me. She was a coach. She would always ask me what my goal was, and as a freshman, I remember telling her that my goal was to break the freshman 400-meter record. She would constantly stop me in the hallway and say, how's everything going, even when I didn't have her as a teacher. What training are you doing? And if I was to give a metaphor, it would be like I was in a boxing match in the 3rd round, and they ring the bell, and I go back to the corner, and she's right there. She was always in my corner, and she would say something in this metaphor. She would say, get back out there. You've worked way too hard. Show them what a kid from Fairborn can do. I remember the whole stink bomb situation and how Piercy didn't yell at me, and she didn't lecture me. She asked me a question that forced myself to be honest. She said, Matt, how does lighting a stink bomb off in a classroom get you closer to your goal? Wow. It doesn't. It moves me further away from it. In fact, I missed 2 track meets because I was suspended. We all understand that mistakes have consequences, but consequences take momentum. They ruin your reputation. They can cost you your goal or your dream, and a mistake big enough could cost you your future. In my final track meet of my freshman year, I did break the record, but I thought more about the 2 meets that I missed, and those opportunities that I missed there more than anything. That question, though, does it get you closer to your goal or not? I use it in my leadership today and how I run my family. If it's not going to get me closer to my goal, then I won't do it. For me, that question was always in my head in high school, where I didn't do drugs because I thought it's pushing me further away from my goal. So that question is still tattooed on the inside of my head. And then senior year, I ran at state, and we set school records, and Piercy was still in my corner. And she gave me a book my senior year, Oh, the Places You Will Go. And I remember getting the book, and I'm, well, what's this? She goes, you're going to go a lot of places. And I didn't understand that as an 18-year-old kid. For me, these teachers gave me more than just grades. One taught me that I'm an artist of my own future. One reminded me that I'm a work in progress, not a finished product. One challenged me to act better and never, ever lose sight of the goal. I didn't just leave high school with a diploma, I left with a foundation. Thank you.
Joshua L. Smith is a 2008 graduate of Fairborn High School, where he was a member of the marching, symphonic, and jazz bands and the varsity basketball team, completed the digital media program at the Greene County Career Center, and earned the rank of Eagle Scout. He then earned an Associate of Arts in Video Production and a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking from the Art Institute of Ohio. He was employed at Cincinnati's Fox 19 WXIX News, and in 2017, he joined Cincinnati's Prestige AV and Creative Services, where he was the Video Services Manager and developed content for clients such as Procter & Gamble and General Electric. In 2021, he became the Miami University's Post-Production Specialist, helping to create engaging and innovative instructional videos. In 2022, he returned to Prestige Services, where he is now the Senior Video Project Manager. He leads teams to manage all video shoots, handles client communication, and manages employee schedules and responsibilities. He has received many prestigious awards, including a 2016 National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Regional Emmy and a 2022 Telly Award for Excellence in Video and Television. He and his wife, Katie, reside in Cincinnati, where he continues making videos on a variety of topics for his YouTube channel. Superintendent Gayhart, it is my honor to present Joshua L. Smith for induction into the Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor.
Before I get started, I'm 7 foot tall. So now that's been answered, I expect your focus for a little bit. Okay, I'm kidding. Good evening, everyone. Moments like these don't happen in a vacuum. They're built on the prayers of others, the belief of mentors, and the unwavering support of the people who walk beside us. For me, the bedrock has always been God, the foundation, my family, and the compass guiding me forward in my adult life has been my wife. She is my confidant, my greatest encourager, and my North Star that has helped me stay on course through every twist and turn. I was shaped by many things, but Fairborn is stitched into the fabric of who I am. It's a town like no other, literally the only one in the world with its name. I double-checked that, that's true. And for me, it represents grit, heart, and community. Fairborn taught me that where you grow up can grow with you, that friendships can stretch across decades, and that the smallest moments often leave the deepest marks. Some of the people who influenced me the most aren't here tonight, but their words echo still. One example is Coach Duckworth. He once looked at me during an early morning basketball practice and said, "What are you crying about? Getting here was the hard part." That line stayed with me because it's true in sports and work and in life. The hardest step usually is showing up. But if you do, you'll be amazed at the strength you'll find waiting. I also wanted to thank Ed Nagel, who was the band director here at Fairborn for many years. Music and musicianship was a big part of my life, and he impacted me more than I think he realized. I also wanted to thank Jeffrey Covey from the Greene County Career Center. He was my instructor over there in digital media. His belief in my potential helped launch a lifelong love for video production. His encouragement helped me not just see what I was, but what I could become. In my career, I've been blessed by mentors who didn't just teach me skills, they taught me character. Jane Elliott, hi Jane, at Fox 19 showed me how to be impactful creatively with grace and grit. Sorry. How to handle pressure with professionalism. And Greg Ullman, hi Greg, brought strategy to creativity. His example taught me that vision is nothing without structure. To my lifelong friends, Nick Janiel, Ryan Deibler, and Tony Strader, thank you for being constants. Nick, you've always been the guy I could geek out with and count on. Ryan, from band camp to being roommates, our friendship has grown up with us. And Tony, I will never forget his kindness when I first arrived to this town in 6th grade, and he was my first friend. To the committee, thank you. To be named among the Hall of Honor inductees is not something I take lightly, and I'm in good company. There's a little bit of imposter syndrome, but there's also immense gratitude. Fairborn gave me roots, it gave me perspective, and it gave me people who believed in me before I believed in myself. I'm proud to be from here, and I'll always carry that pride with me. Thank you.
Kelly Schreier Mercer is a 2000 graduate of Fairborn High School, where she was the student council president and a member of the National Honor Society and the varsity volleyball, basketball, and softball teams, and was named to the WL All-Academic Team in volleyball and softball. She received a Bachelor of Arts in Communication and Electronic Media, summa cum laude, in 2004 from the University of Dayton, where she was a member of the crew team and played Division I softball. In 2019, she received a masterclass degree at the School of Motion. She took a position in marketing and design at the Modern College of Design and served as the media design director at Haffenbach Marketing and Janessa Health Marketing. In 2012, she co-founded Boom Crate Studios with her husband, Brian, and they have developed branding, marketing, and advertising campaigns for clients such as the Cincinnati Bengals and Dayton Children's Hospital, and also Fairborn City Schools. She has been an instructor at the Modern College of Design and a guest lecturer at the University of Dayton. She is a member of the Dayton Children's Business Advisory Council Board and the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and has earned 4 Emmy Awards for excellence in writing, animation, and production, 4 Telly Awards, and numerous other advertising awards. Superintendent Gayhart, it is my honor to present Kelly Schreier Mercer for induction into the Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor.
Before we get started, I am 5'6". Thank you so much. 25 years ago, I stood on a stage very similar to this as the student council president, welcoming the class of 2000 inductees into the Hall of Honor. So I want to thank the students tonight for their incredible welcome, and also say that if you would have told me 25 years ago that I would be standing here being inducted into the Hall of Honor, I would have laughed. It was definitely not something, even at the time, that I understood completely or saw something for myself. But if you would have told me that after I left, I would have said, okay, let's get to work. Because hard work is kind of the core of my entire personality. I work incredibly hard for everyone around me and for myself. Sometimes I wonder what I did to deserve this beautiful life. And then I remember, whoo! Thank you. And then I remember that to whom much is given, much is expected. So I've enjoyed an amazing career that's not done yet. I just graduated 25 years ago, so it's not quite done yet. I've had the opportunity to travel all over, and I have an incredible family and an amazing husband. The hard work has driven me forward. Long nights turned into long days, and so on. But that hard work and that work ethic came from my wonderful parents, who taught me at a very young age to show up and to be present and to do the best you can always. Those principles are actually the founding principles of the company that my husband and I run today. And as my dad has always said my entire life, attitude is in your control. So as I think about all of the wonderful things that I've gotten to be a part of, attitude really is everything. I've been blessed to be part of very unique things. I've had, as I said, an incredible career that has spanned sort of a multitude of things. Sometimes I even pinch myself when I realize some of the work that I do. I get to work with Dolly Parton, the NFL, so many other things to name, and it doesn't seem real. And in the heavy times when things get hard, whether it's a family tragedy or an illness or something that keeps you up from a personal perspective, or from a professional perspective, if it's just crazy deadlines or even more hours, I remember attitude is everything. I get to do this. It started here at Fairborn. This place helped shape me into who I am today and truly opened my world to all the options that existed. I was a precocious young lady. I always wanted to learn, and I continue to want to learn. My mom had to read me the dictionary when I was growing up because books just weren't enough. I needed to learn all of the words that were possible. I needed to learn everything that I possibly could. I needed more learning, more opportunity, always. And at Fairborn, there were countless teachers who helped feed that desire. Mr. Kirsch, my science teacher, I think he was everybody's favorite teacher, potentially. Many of the students today might know him a little bit, just before he retired, but he was somebody who consistently reminded me that anything is possible. Whether you love my science class or not, which I did, anything is possible. Mr. Hildebrand, who was a history teacher and then also my softball coach growing up. There was no situation that he couldn't help us through. Coach Hinges, Coach Shively, Coach Carnell. I played 3 sports while I was at Fairborn, and I was lucky to do so. And each of these coaches taught me what it meant to push past your limits and to do things that you didn't know that you could do. A special thank you to Mr. Taylor, who used to drive me to the hospital. My brother was very sick when I was growing up, and he used to drive me to the hospital after class so that I could see him. And then when I won an Emmy for writing, I thanked a Fairborn High School teacher, Mrs. Russell Rader. She was probably one of my favorite teachers, but also one who pushed me the hardest. She saw potential in me to do big things that perhaps I didn't see in myself. She tried to get me to be part of Power of the Pen, and to this day, I still wonder what would have happened if I actually would have taken her up on that. But when I won my first Emmy for writing, I thanked her because I could see her standing there in front of me saying, "See, I told you writing was in your future." And in this crazy world, this crazy life that I love to move forward in, I thank my parents for helping me understand the value of hard work and what it means to truly have the support from people you love. You've modeled for me my entire life how to treat others with dignity and respect, and you've taught me what it truly means to have unconditional love. Am I the only one that's gonna cry up here? Ryan, you're next. Without your guidance and your early morning and late night phone calls, I definitely would not be where I am today. To my husband, who probably understands all of the crazy more than anybody in the world, thank you for your love and support always. Woo. And to my family who can't be here tonight, I know you're here in spirit. I've tried really hard to focus on how I can use my talents and my efforts and my gifts to work really hard to make this corner of the world a better place. And as I stand here today, honored beyond words to be part of this incredible group of Inshinees, I commit to staying focused on how I can be a light for those who need it, to show others that no matter where you start from, it's okay. Because it's not about where you start, it's where you finish. And I promise that I'm nowhere near the finish line. I'm incredibly honored to receive this induction, and I thank all of you. Thank you.
This is hard this year. Charles Henry Mayenshine is a 1939 graduate of Bath Exempted Village School, where he was a 3-year captain of the varsity football team and played French horn in the band. In junior high school, he built his first car using parts from a Maytag washing machine, and in high school, he designed and built his own vehicles. He attended the University of Dayton, but in 1942, he joined the U.S. Navy, where he was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, throughout World War II. He returned to Ohio and became one of the first civilian jet mechanics at Wright Field. He continued to build hot rods, and his fabulous Phaeton dominated the National Car Show circuit and was known as the most celebrated car this side of the Mississippi. He co-designed and built the Green Monster, which set the world land speed record in 1964 at the Bonneville Salt Flats, reaching 576 miles per hour. When he snuck a passenger ride in his car, he got the nickname as the world's fastest hitchhiker. His contributions to the automotive world have been documented in films such as The Long Black Line, in magazines and newspapers, and in books such as The Fastest Man on Wheels. He died in 1966 in a motorcycle accident at the age of 48. He is survived by his sons Tom, Danny, and David, and his grandchildren Ben, Molly, Sarah, and Shannon. Superintendent Gayhart, it is my honor to present Charles Henry Mayenshine for induction into the Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor.
Well, I thank everybody for being here. She pretty much said everything there is really to say. He was quite a guy. The ride that he took to become the world's fastest hitchhiker, he went 372 miles an hour. Art was going to go for a record run. It's a 10-mile strip that they run down in the Salt Flats, and it takes them a minute and a half to go 10 miles. So it takes the crew a little time to catch up to help him. So when he gets at the end of the track, first thing he does, he jumps out to grab the parachutes so they don't burn on the afterburner. And he looked up, my dad was standing there, and he says, "Well, Charlie, how in the hell did you get here?" And he says, "Well, I rode with you." And he says, he only went, he wanted to go 500 miles an hour, but he only went 372 because the car did a sachet through the quarter mile, and so he had to let off on the gas. And so he asked my dad what he thought about that sachet, and he goes, I wasn't worried. I knew you could handle it. But them old guys were heroes in my life, and they were a lot braver than I was. So thank you very much for this, and appreciate it all. Thank you.
Ryan A. Williams is a 1998 graduate of Fairborn High School, where he was the president of the choir, played the saxophone and guitar in the band, and participated in the Fairborn Fire Department Explorers program. He earned an Associate of Science degree in Fire Science and a Bachelor of Science degree in Fire Administration from Columbia Southern University. He served in the Beaver Creek Township Fire Department, where he became fire captain in 2017, and was a rescue specialist on the FEMA Ohio Task Force 1. He also served on the Ohio Region 3 Rescue Strike Team for nearly a decade. He joined the Fairborn Fire Department in 2019, and he was named Fairborn Fire Chief and Director in 2021. He has been an instructor at Sinclair Community College's Fire Academy and has taught fire, EMS, and technical rescue courses throughout Ohio, including at the Bowling Green University Fire School, Wright State University's National Center for Medical Readiness, and FEMA. He has received multiple meritorious service awards, fire and EMS commendations, and he was the 2004 Firefighter of the Year. He is a member of the Fairborn Rotary and Lions Clubs and a very active member of Abiding Christ Lutheran Church, where he and his wife Megan are youth group leaders. He and Megan are the proud parents of sons Chase, Connor, and Caleb. Superintendent Gayhart, it is my honor to present you Chief Ryan A. Williams for induction into the Fairborn City Schools Hall of Honor.
Good evening. Don't be nervous by my 6 pages of notes. It's 24-point font, so I didn't have to bring my reading glasses tonight. I'm one of the lucky people who knew what they were going to do pretty much their whole life. So over the years of talking to kids and adults in public education, outreach programs and things, I was often asked my why. What's your why? Why'd you want to become a firefighter? And I usually said, you should have asked me when I was 2. I had it all figured out back then. And maybe I did, but really I didn't know my reason when I started, although I certainly understand now why I still love my career today. The humor in this lies in the fact that I was terrified of the fire department. True story. For no reason whatsoever. This was never more evident than the day I got my arm stuck in a chair at a very young age. My sweet mother gently warned me that the fire department needed to respond, which scared me even more, until my neighbor showed up to be helpful with a butcher knife. Right? True story. I found this out today, that detail. I contemplated just carrying that chair around for the rest of my life. But eventually, I was freed from the chair, in case you were wondering how that ended up ending. And actually, I was freed by the Fairborn Fire Department. We have a retiree, Mr. Bill Kepi, sitting in front of me. And it may have been you, Bill. It could have been. So fast forward a few decades, and join me in my kitchen, our kitchen, where I find our son Connor following in Dad's footsteps. His head jammed between 2 railings of the dining room chair, laughing and crying at the same time. Now, Connor's discussing becoming a firefighter. So when I think about the aspect of both of us having that fear at a young age, I think of the quote from Joseph Campbell, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek." Caleb and Chase haven't decided exactly what they want to do yet, but they've talked about everything from pastor to musician, athlete to gamer, teacher to doctor. And when it's all said and done, guys, you don't have to know yet, nor do you have to know your why, just know that you'll know. By the way, Connor was also freed from that chair, in case you were wondering. Firefighters have an interesting job. There's a few here, my good friend JR and, of course, Bill. We see the worst and best days of people's lives. Sometimes loved ones are leaving the earthly world, and sometimes we're fortunate enough to see them enter it. So like any job or calling, we have good days and bad days. The key is to find the good in every situation. My 3 boys hear us say that ad nauseum, and luckily help remind me sometimes too. But I firmly believe if you're not looking for it, you're not going to find it. That applies to everything from the grace of God to a positive moment in your day. So here I am tonight, not because of my academic excellence. Mrs. Parsons, Mr. Moore, you know that all too well. In fact, I'll share the story of how I had to pass Mrs. Frahn's final exam just to proceed to the next school year. I studied with Mrs. Frahn, crammed for the test, and took it with a focused mind, having no idea how I had actually done. The next day, Mrs. Frahn came running through the school at the old high school, through the hallway, yelling, "Ryan, Ryan, you got a very low D, and I'm so proud of you." It's funny, we spoke to the kids, some of the kids today at the high school we were invited in. And I started my discussion with the kids on how many of you have ever been excited about a D? And they just stared at me. They kind of shook their heads. It's not the way I expected it to go. And then I realized that I was in a very high-level gifted class, one that I had not been in. So accompanied with a hug from Mrs. Frahn, I thanked her and promised I'd do better. Music, on the other hand, it kind of was my thing, like some of my colleagues up here tonight. I maintained my GPA by capitalizing on band and choir. I was privileged to be a member of the band when we recorded a CD in Canada and participated in Grand Nationals in Indianapolis, and a member of the choir when we performed in Virginia Beach. And I still play sax and guitar, and I sing in the church choir under an extremely strict and particular director, my sweet sister Robin. Music's a huge part of our lives, and I thank all the teachers and instructors from Fairborn City Schools who led the way, from Marcia Horton to Suzanne Andes, Linda Bassaro, and Bill Carver, and now Christy Chenoweth, Mr. Guess, Miss Hawkins, Amy Whitehill, and Mr. and Mrs. Goretta. And I know I saw Mrs. Goretta. I know I saw Mr. Goretta too, some here. But all these teachers are making music, forming memories, and helping to provide a beautiful form of art, therapy, and sheer enjoyment. So I promised Mrs. Frahn and dozens of other people that I'd do better, but that's an ongoing thing, isn't it? I've never been a dad before, I've never been a chief before, or a Hall of Honor inductee before. So we just have to learn as we go, don't we? We have to learn from the good and the bad leaders what to do and what not to do. We have to learn from our own mistakes. We have to mess up. We have to fail, fall down, all in order to do better. So pay close attention to those failures people make. Don't laugh, don't point, just learn from them. I'm not lecturing you. On the other hand, don't beat yourself up when you're the one who makes mistakes. Laugh, learn, and move on. And when people do laugh and point, know that hurt people. So just be kind. And remember what Greek poet Dinos Christianopoulos wrote. They tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. Megan and I were fortunate enough to attend the induction ceremony for the newest group of Chief Master Sergeants with our dear friends, retired Chief Master Sergeant Roger Sloan and his wife, Kay. We heard Command Chief Master Sergeant Bill Fitch from the Air Force Material Command at Wright-Patt speak as the keynote speaker, and he recollected waiting in line at a fast food restaurant not long ago. And he was watching a worker there who was profusely sweating, cleaning a grill, just should have been miserable, but he was whistling and singing and having the time of his life. When a coworker walked by the other worker who was sweating and working, she said, "Why are you so happy?" He replied, "'Cause I choose to be." And I encourage you here tonight to also make that choice, to find the good and choose to be happy. So here I am at the Hall of Honor, feeling, as some have said tonight, quite out of place. But I'm honored and humbled for this honor to be bestowed to me and my family. My parents, Fairborn graduates, Bob and Linda, are both here tonight. My stepfather, Larry, is here tonight. My sister, Robin, also a Fairborn graduate, that really strict choir director I told you about. Her and her husband, Steve, and my nieces, Madeline and Catherine, were not able to make it. They're traveling. My Aunt Pam was going to be here. She's here with my grandmother, who's at home. And thank you to my church family, to the City of Fairborn leadership and staff for believing in me, our administrative team, and to the members of the Fairborn Fire Department, and to the residents in the overall community of Fairborn who support us. Know that the Fairborn Fire Department exists solely because of you. That's why we're here. I had a lot of teachers, and I started in kindergarten. But again, I see Mr. Moore back there. Thank you, Mr. Moore. It's been good getting to know you over the last year, more as a friend and not just as a respected teacher. Mrs. Parsons, I learned that Mrs. Parsons has been doing this for over 35 years. So that's pretty impressive, Mrs. Parsons. Thank you for your work. I also saw Mrs. Kepi, Bill's wife. She was a teacher for a long time. And Mrs. Riddle, my 6th grade teacher as well, is here. And of course, my wife and best friend, mentor and rock, Megan, who is not a Fairborn graduate, I might add, but she is employed here by the school, so that receives a passing grade. And to her parents, Rita and Jim, Ron and Irene, who also were not able to travel down this evening, And our boys, Chase, Connor, and Caleb, who teach me to be a dad. You define happiness and joy and remind me of my blessings every single day. I'm so proud of you, and please keep learning from the mistakes I make, and I will continue to make. To my fellow Fairborn High School graduates and inductees, and to all your families, thank you. It's been nice getting to know you the last couple of days, and congratulations. Thank you to Fairborn City Schools staff, all the staff. The Hall of Honor Committee, thank you for considering me for this. The Board of Education, President Steiniger, Mrs. Amy Gayhart, Mrs. Pam Gayhart, Mrs. Fulton, thank you for everything you did. I almost got you before you walked out. And thank you for all your help throughout this process. And all the staff who assist with organizing and facilitating this event. There are people here that I know, Dr. Ryan Hammock, he's an inductee as well, and it's just such a nice crowd, and it's such a privilege. And thank you so very much for this honor and for being here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we truly appreciate your attendance at tonight's celebration of appreciation, pride, and inspiration. These outstanding sons and daughters of Fairborn have accomplished outstanding achievements in their chosen fields, and they have brought great pride to Fairborn City Schools and our community, and have made great contributions to people, communities, and causes. We are a strong school system and community because their lives have touched us. We hope that you will join us now in the Great Hall for refreshments, and the inductees will be escorted off to the left by the senior class. Thank you.